here at Beauty Bar Med Spa, and my name's Christy.
I'm Jillian.
And we're two of the permanent makeup artists here at Beauty Bar Med Spa. And today we're going to go over some of the frequently asked questions that we have pertaining to permanent makeup. So today will be part one. So as a permanent or as a client, what are some things that you look for in a permanent makeup artist or should look for?
So you should definitely be looking for somebody, and whenever I say experienced artist, there's also people that are training too. So someone not only just experienced, but even just being overseen by an experienced artist is very key to having good longevity permanent makeup. Also someone that really invests in their education as well. It's really easy to just do your fundamental class and then just start, but there's so many intricate things that go into what we do. Just make sure that you're looking for someone that has really taken the time to invest in their education and in their craft.
Mm-hmm. And then another good thing to look for is like healed work. So a lot of work when it's freshly done looks different than what healed work will look like. So if you have an artist that has like a portfolio where you can see what their healed work looks like, some of the other things you can look for is like client reviews, so other clients' experiences. And I wouldn't say like necessarily price, but honestly, quality of work and experience usually pertains to like a higher price point. So even when I first started, I charged significantly less than what I charge now. But as you get more experienced, as you're investing in more advanced training, then the prices kind of go up in prices. So.
And you'll spend so much more trying to fix your brows than you will just investing in a good artist the first time. You'll pay $550 for brows. Say you pay $300 for bad brows. You might have paid $300 then, but after you want removal, you're going to pay $100 to $150 a session. It may take up to 10 sessions. And then if you want them done again, you're going to want to go to somebody good that time. You're investing over $1,000 in your brows at that point, unless you should have just gone to someone good the first time and you would have spent half of that.
Yeah. Another thing to look for is like pertaining to experience, but if your artist offers multiple different techniques, that way they can customize it to you specifically instead of someone that just offers one specific type of brow. So I strongly suggest, like, if you are a technician, to learn multiple different techniques, and then if you're a client, to go to a technician that's able to accommodate you specifically for your desired style, your skin type, all of those things. What type of brows would be best for me? So I'll let you go over.
So we normally gauge it off of like your personal style. So for instance, if you fill in your brows, normally we would go for more of a powder brow. If you prefer to do hair strokes or you don't normally wear makeup at all, you can also do a combo brow, which is a little bit in between depending on what you're wanting. But the nano is also very, very natural, and so that'll mimic your real hair pattern. So whatever your personal style is, your regular lifestyle, skincare, and skin type is what we'll base that off of.
Yeah, and honestly, usually we book complimentary consultations. So if you're ever unsure about what technique or style you're wanting, bring in some images of like either brow envy or one picture that you really loved the way your brows were filled in, and we kind of can go based off of that as far as like how bold you're wanting your brows or how natural you want it. So that'll give us a good gauge of what your personal style is. So what are some recommendations when you're coming in for a consultation as far as what questions you may want to ask your technician or what they should bring?
I would recommend to bring like a picture of your brow goals. So just try to assess before you come in what you're really wanting them to heal like. Because for instance, whenever you come in to get your brows done, they're going to be much darker than normal. So you're going to want to bring in a picture that says, this is how I want your brows to look after they heal.
So some of the things that you're going to want to consider is like what your daily lifestyle is. So if you are always on the go and you don't wear a lot of makeup on an everyday basis, then more than likely you're gonna want more of a minimalistic brow style. So either like a soft powder or like that natural nano style. And there's different styles in each of the brow techniques. So you can go as subtle as you want and as bold as you want with any of the techniques that we offer. So letting us know what your everyday lifestyle is like, that way you don't want to be that person that wears like very minimalistic makeup every day and you're super natural, and then you end up deciding you want like a bold brow. It's just not going to be cohesive with the rest of your makeup routine. So letting us know lifestyle, things like that. And then same thing with like the aftercare and the healing process. So if we have insight into what your lifestyle is like, then we can kind of gauge what that healing process is going to be for you. So for instance, like probably this summer, if you're an outdoor person and you're going to be in the pool all summer, then you're likely not going to want to get your brows done in the summertime. You'd probably want to wait until after vacation before you're going to get your brows done. So that's another question, like once you get your brows done, what is that healing process like?
So after you get them done first day, they're going to be much bolder, especially we numb, so you have this white cast around the brow. So that goes down within an hour, but it makes them look very, very bold whenever I first show them to you. So it might look a little scary, but you have to trust the process. So the first few days, they get darker, they oxidize in your skin, kind of like foundation is what I compare it to. You put it on at 9, and then by 5, you're like, why is the color like this? And so after they oxidize, they start to get a little hard, and depending on your skin type, they might just be a little flaky, dandruffy, or they might have more of like an actual like scabbing phase. So just hope for the best. It could look crazy, but you know, it's okay. So week 3, it is a lot lighter. It's called the ghosting phase, and it gets about 50% lighter whenever it actually like heals. So week 4, it'll come all together. So you'll actually see your pigment come back at week 4 after your skin kind of goes through all of its phases that it needs to actually heal into your skin.
Yeah, so when you're scheduling it out, since you know that it's going to be like dark and bold that first week, so that's not going to be a time that you're going to schedule like before a special event. So if you have like an upcoming wedding, or if you have pictures upcoming, just know that your brows are going to be like dark and bold that first week. Week 2, it's going to go through a shedding period where it slightly flakes off. So again, if you have any upcoming events in that 2-week time span following your brow appointment, visibly you want to give it that 2-week healing time span. As far as healing, it's usually going to take 4 to 6 weeks for your skin to completely heal. So when you're scheduling out, just consider those things. But always get. Okay, another question we always get is this going to be uncomfortable? Like how much pain is involved?
So whenever you come in, what I always like personally at my first do, I'll bring you back into my room and I'll just tell you, you can sit on this couch, I'll pre-numb you for 25 minutes. So I use a topical numbing first whenever you come in for 25 minutes, and then I'll come back in, brow map, and then after we do our first pass, that opens the skin to allow for that secondary numbing to actually come in, and that's the good stuff. So after that, you really, if you followed your pre-care, you shouldn't feel any of the pain. I feel like depending on the service, like where like brows, lips, and liner, it's all different like pain level wise, but it's really, you're very comfortable. Almost everybody falls asleep, even like eyeliner, lips, brows. For brows, almost everyone falls asleep, so it's a very comfortable process.
Yeah, and then following up on her pre-care. So when you are coming in for your appointment, it's really important for you to follow those pre-care instructions just to ensure the best result for your investment. So as far as pre-care, like some of the things that you're going to want to avoid is going to be any blood thinning property type of medication. So if you're on a blood thinner, we recommend checking with your physician to see if you can discontinue those for 48 hours prior. Any other medications that have blood thinners in it, so like Advil, Tylenol. If you're a wine drinker, make sure that the evening before, no alcohol. If you're a caffeine drinker, no caffeine on the day of your session. And that's because all of those have blood thinning properties. So what's going to happen is when we implant the pigment, the blood's going to push it to the superficial layers to where you're not going to get as good retention on your investment. So those are really important to follow those pre-care instructions. As far as aftercare instructions, what are some suggestions that you would have for clients?
So make sure that you allow for time to not be like sauna, sweating. If you're an avid like worker outer, just make sure that you're like mentally prepared to not sweat. If you go to the gym and you don't sweat, that's okay, but the sodium in your sweat will mix with that pigment and you're going to lose a lot of your retention that you just paid really good money for. So definitely recommend to follow the no sweating policy, as well as getting water on top of your brow. Just think of it as like a scab on your body. If you go swimming, you get in the shower, it's gonna fall off a lot faster. You'll notice that it gets, a lot softer. So your brows will do the same thing. So you want to make sure, even after you cleanse with your like pre-mixed cleanser, that you even blot a little bit of that water off the top of your brow and then apply your grapeseed oil over the top, just to make sure none of that water is sitting behind your brow and it's not holding it in the hair.
Yeah, and then adding to what Jill said, like you want to treat it like an open wound area. So if you're going to the gym or your work environment, or you have your kids' sports in the evenings, just be mindful that that is technically an open wound area. So say for instance, you go to the gym and you have your gym gloves on that probably have germs and bacteria, you're sweating a little, you accidentally swipe your brow area, that contaminates your brow area with whatever germs and bacteria that you may have touched throughout the gym environment. So just make sure you're being super cautious of that. Same thing, a lot of women will wear a ball cap after like brows, just to kind of hide the darkness and boldness of it, but also to protect it from the sun. And so if you're wearing a ball cap that you wear all the time, the sweat and germs and bacteria along the band of your ball cap could contaminate that area. So just being extra cautious and mindful that it is an open wound, so you want to treat it like that and protecting it from the possibility of any germs or infection. So another question we get is, what is the difference between like semi-permanent makeup and like old school permanent makeup tattooing?
So whenever you see brows, and I'm sure everyone has seen it, brows that are green, blue, sometimes they're like purple, red, they have been used, normally they used actual body tattooing ink whenever they would do that. So whenever you see that, it's either gone too deep or they used actual body ink. And so for instance, if you look at like one of your body tattoos, like even on my arm, even though this was used with black ink, it still is going to turn green over time. So this is why we want to use our permanent makeup pigment, because it has more organic ingredients in there and it's actually going to fade out over time to allow for us to be able to touch it up and make it look like a nice actual color of like hair for your brow. So for instance, if you're a blonde, if you have brown hair or even black hair, it's actually going to look like that color. It's not going to turn in blue, green, purple, red, all the crazy colors that you see on people that want their brows to stay forever, but that's actually not good for your skin. It's not going to look good over time. It's not going to look like an actual eyebrow over time. It's going to look crazy.
And then the other difference is like the depth that we apply the pigment to. So with semi-permanent makeup, we're just applying it just right into that second layer of skin. So over time, as your skin cycles out, it's going to fade and push that pigment to more of those superficial layers until it fades out over time. Whereas tattooing is in those deeper layers of skin because it's designed to last lifelong. So since it's in those deeper layers, it gets past that layer of that cycling, so it's sitting under there.